Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Miscellaneous Gab, and I could not be more excited to talk about Dune 3 has begun filming, and there's some very special and important things that we need to know about it. Join me, subscribe, comment, like this video as I tell you everything we know so far about Dune 3 filming, release date, etc. The first part of this video will contain no spoilers for the plot, so if you haven't read the books and you've only watched the movies, you're in good hands for the first few minutes of this video.
The spice. He knows about the spice.
The spice. I must have it. Spice Malone.
And then stick around if you have read the books, if you do know what happens in Dune Messiah, because I'm gonna share my opinion about some things as I do on here. Now, as far as I'm aware, this movie is being referenced as Dune 3, so that can be a trilogy. Denis Villeneuve has been very vocal that he intends to stop after this trilogy is completed, rather than Dune Messiah, which is the book it will cover. Dune Messiah is the second book. Why is Denis Villeneuve stopping after Dune Messiah? For several reasons. First of all, Dune is a weird sci-fi book. It's as much as a sci-fi novel as it is a philosophical exploration. A lot of it, given that it was written in the 60s, feels like a trip. Like, it feels like LSD on the page. If you've read the books, they only get weirder as they go. For a while, I even had to stop reading the books and come back to them because once you get past Children of Dune, even to the end of Children of Dune, things just get weird. Now, David Lynch, may he rest in peace, he made a Dune movie in the 80s, and I do think it was a little more in line with the weirdness of Dune. However, Denis Villeneuve has done such a wonderful job of competing with the scale, the epicness, the world, the terror of the desert. I think to keep that tone up, he probably does need to stop after this film. It has begun filming in Budapest as of July, and it's expected to release at the end of 2026. So we have a little less than a year and a half. Now, I think Dune parts 1 and 2, especially part 2, are some of the best movies that I've ever seen. If you watch any of my Dune breakdowns, which are all linked in my Dune playlist, let's talk about what to expect from this movie. And again, this contains no spoilers. So we know that we finished Dune part 2 with the Holy War has begun. Paul raised his Fremen army, defeated Fade Routha, effectively put an end to the Harkonnen rule. And even though some things happened a little bit differently in the movie than the book, we understand that the Fremen are boarding ships to go start the Holy War, effectively reinforce Paul as the ruler of the universe. There's a 12-year time gap between the end of the Dune book and the beginning of Dune Messiah. So there's a flash forward, 12 years pass. Things have happened under Paul's reign for better or worse, and people have some things to say about it. Paul isn't exactly elected by popular vote unless you are only counting the Fremen, and we ended at least the movie with all the Landsrat, the noble houses of the universe kind of pointing their weapons at him, knowing that nobody other than the Fremen and Paul's immediate circle really wants him there. And people don't even really understand him, right? He's almost too powerful. He's the Kwisatz Haderach, that male Bene Gesserit. He has drank the water of life, so he has access to all of the genetic memory of every reverend mother before him, and he's extremely prescient. He can kind of tell the future. That makes him a little scary and very powerful. So what else can we expect from the new movie? I know that Dune Part 2 ended whilst Jessica was still pregnant with Aaliyah. We know that because Jessica drank the water of life while pregnant, that Aaliyah is born prescient as well. She's literally talking to her mother in the womb. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't heard of that really happening before. And of course, in the original Dune book, there is a few-year gap, about a 4-year gap, where Paul is in the desert with the Fremen. The movie cut out that gap. I understand why. So readers of the first book will have already met Aaliyah. She is actually the one who killed Baron Harkonnen. Dune. Obviously, it would have been weird for a talking 4-year-old to do that. I like the way the movie handled it. Obviously, Aaliyah will play a major role in this film. I'm not gonna tell you why or how. This third film will introduce a dangerous conspiracy of rogue agents who are secretly plotting to bring down the Emperor. Like I said, a lot of people are not very pleased with Paul's rule, and we'll see what kind of effect that has had on not only his constituents, but Paul himself. Who has this man become? How have his relationships altered or improved or changed with the people in his life? A lot of fracturing in Paul's relationships at the end of Dune with Chani. That was also a little bit different from the book, which I have a lot to say about that. His relationship with his mother is on the rocks. His relationship with Stilgar, which was once buddy-buddy, has now kind of turned into this reverence and awe that Stilgar has for Paul, and they're less like bosom buddies. One of my biggest critiques about Dune 1 and 2 is that it didn't get us into the juicy politics. We don't learn much about the guild navigators, the Landsrat, all of the political factors that are working. If you want to dive deeper into this and you didn't read the books, go ahead and check out my Dune dinner party scene review. That's one of my favorite scenes from the books that actually got cut out of Dune Part 1. We're gonna get way more into the plots within plots, the alliances, the fractures, kind of how people go about control and power in this world and in this dynamic, which is of course different than the world we know, not only because it takes place so far into the future, but also because people have different powers and abilities. Hopefully we will also see one more planet. It's a little bit of an inconsequential planet. We also have a new casting announcement. Robert Pattinson is going to be joining the film as Scytale. I can't tell you who Scytale is until the spoiler section. I am so pumped, honestly. I think Robert Pattinson is such a great actor. I can't wait to see what they do with Scytale. That's my spoiler-free section. If you don't want parts of Dune Messiah / Dune Part 3 spoiled for you, go ahead and click away, but share this video with a friend who you want to take to the movie theater to see Dune. Hopefully they'll do away with those weird worm popcorn buckets. Spoiler time for all my people who have either read Dune Messiah or don't care about it being spoiled. Let's do a little reminder of what's going on and what we're dealing with. By the start of Dune Messiah, Paul Atreides has become more than this prophetic figure, this weird rogue Fremen. He's literally the freaking Emperor of the universe. His rise has ignited intense religious devotion among his followers, especially the Fremen, who have pushed for a holy war that over the last 12 years have cost billions of lives throughout the galaxy. Armed with a commanding grasp of his ancestral memories and his prophetic visions, Paul now struggles to steer humanity, his loved ones, and himself away from annihilation. The main people involved with the conspiracy is the Reverend Mother, Princess Irulan, who kind of goes back and forth, the Guild Navigator, and Scytale, who's played by Robert Pattinson. If you recall, Scytale is a face dancer. He can change his appearance. If you watch Dune Prophecy, if you recall, there was a face dancer featured. This is an ancient Benny Tleilax weirdo situation. Obviously, Scytale is there to deceive, to lure, to lie. Now, another thing I'm super excited to see that is a spoiler is Jason Momoa will be back as the Gula, as Hate. It's been so long since Dune 1, like 5 years. I'm so excited to see what they do with Hate and with the Gula. There's no secret that he's a Gula, which is so interesting because Paul's like, are you a Gula? Hate's like, yeah, my name's Hate. I'm not Duncan, Idaho. There's a couple questions that I am interested to see how they address. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I wasn't the biggest fan of how they handled both Chani and Jessica. Now I know people are like, it was written in the 1960s and we didn't like how Chani just follows Paul around like a little bunny and loves him and we need to make her badass. Sure, whatever, but there's so many badass women in Dune that I really don't think we needed to do that. We ended Dune Part 2 with Chani kind of riding her worm Uber into the sunset being like, fuck you, Paul. That obviously like has to change in some way because it's a major plot point in Dune Messiah that one, Irulan has been poisoning Chani so that she can't have children because Paul stayed loyal and true to Chani the whole time. He never slept with Irulan. He never consummated the marriage. He honestly treated her like absolute shit. Even at one point, Chani's like, hey, I get it. Like, if you need to go have a baby with her, do it because that will probably ensure your survival. The longer you don't have a baby with her, the more she's gonna go to the side of the conspiracy. And Paul has this vision of Chani dying, which of course, okay, definitely make sure you don't want spoilers, but it happens at the end of Dune Messiah. Chani dies in childbirth, giving birth to Leto Jr. and Ganima. The other thing that they changed was Jessica kind of being this like evil woman. Jessica from the books counseled more restraint. In Dune Messiah, she's largely not involved. She comes back for Children of Dune, but she stays away. She's back on Paladin, but they made her this like evil mastermind behind everything, wanting to exploit the poor Fremen. So we're gonna have to maybe deal with that and undo it, and that's gonna be a thing. Other than that, I know this movie is gonna be freaking amazing, from the score and the soundtrack to the cinematography to the all-star cast that they have lined up. I am very interested to see what they do with the Guild Navigators. They've largely left out Guild Navigators, which are kind of these mutant, weird fish, spice-addicted amphibious creatures. Now they have to kind of reintroduce an entire legion of people that really matter and have a lot of sway and have a lot to say in this world and how things get done. What do you think? What are you looking forward to? What do you think of Robert Pattinson coming in as freaking Scytale? Guys, Robert Pattinson, he's so much more than Cedric Diggory. He's so much more than Edward Cullen. Please leave your comments below. I still have some other Dune scenes I want to read through in the book. Let me know if you'd like to see that. Big shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. I want to thank all of my Waffle VIP members, which include Marlon Yamzon, Melissa, Dolores Abernathy, Daniel Ariano, Bo Dierker, Matt Winbury, Chris Bizeski, and Jim Rodney. Thank you so much. Let me know what you'd like to see next, and I will see you next time. Bye.